Welcome to Crochet ADHD. I'm your host, Jackie. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I consider you a one-hit wonder. I'm glad you're here. If you are a repeat offender, a member of the GlamFam, were y'all involved in those shenanigans that just went down? Today's episode is a Chit-Chat Cafe. We chit, we chat, and we crochet. It's been a mo, but we're gonna do it. And I've got a couple of things that I want to just talk about. So before we get into it, of course, I'm going to let you know what I'm working on. My calendar inspiration for May. I showed a picture, but I'll pop up another one right here. And this is how far I've gotten. Let's see here. Now, what I did differently, or what I'm doing differently than what I had originally posted about, was I had the pigment and fiber, is that right? Pigment and fiber, the 6-pack of yarn from YARNVIP, and I was just going to do that, but it felt like it was lacking something in between certain parts of the color change. So what I did was I took this yarn here, I'll show it to you this way, this right here, which, here we go, this is also YARNVIP. This colorway is called Veiled Amethyst. I bought this last year at the Hobby Lobby clearance, and it is 50% superwash wool and 50% lyocell. It was very problematic yarn when I tried to use it many times last year. Just adding it in between these first few color changes because I think it helps match the inspiration photo a little bit better. And now that I'm down here, like I'm in the orange, and because the color change is more obvious, so that's the reason why I'm just going from the orange to the blue. And then the last color, I think the last color is like a dark gray. I'm not sure exactly how big it's going to be when it's finished, because I used all of this color, I used all of this color, and I used all of this orange. Well, I didn't have enough to go back. I measured, or I weighed the yarn, and the full ball is 28 grams, and each section has been like 20 grams. So if you got 6 colors, so 120 grams, and notice each section got a little bit narrower because, you know, it was getting wider. So I'm kind of interested to see how far the blue and then the gray ultimately turn out to be. So it might just end up being a shawlette, I don't know. But when I block it, we'll see. But I have to say that this is the first shawl that I have made since March, you know, with any amount of gusto. I'm enjoying it. This is my Pursuing Peace shawl. I love it so much. It makes me so happy, and it's the perfect get back into it kind of pattern for me. That kind of leads into the main thing I wanted to talk about today. I had been thinking about this for a while, and I think I had mentioned it several times in my earlier videos, just about, you know, when I was trying to figure out why shawls meant so much to me as far as like my comfort project. And you know, especially during the hurricane, during the pandemic, I was using that as a way to make me feel better, because I was thinking about my friends that I wasn't able to see on a regular basis, and I wanted to be able to give them a hug from a distance. So, you know, the shawls were like hugs, but it brought up a memory, and I have tried probably 3 times, I think, to tell this story, and every time I do, I end up editing it out of the video. So I'm going to try this time and not edit it out. Okay, so here goes. Several years ago, I'm going to say maybe in the mid 2000s, one day I got a phone call, and this was on our landline back. So there, that gives you some time, gives you a point of reference. I got a phone call, and the caller ID wasn't, the number wasn't familiar. And I answered the phone, and the woman she asked for somebody, some man. And I was like, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, oh, no big deal. I'm very polite to wrong number, by the way. I'm never rude. I always say my pleasantries, thank you, sorry, goodbye. Anyway, the next Sunday, around the same time, the same number called. And again, she asked for man's name. And I said, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number again. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Again, this went on for probably about a month. And then when she called again, I said, who are you trying to get in touch with? And she said she had been trying to call her son. And I'm going to assume that the last two numbers of my phone number and his phone number, were the same, just transposed. And like clockwork, without fail, every Sunday, I think it was like 6 o'clock, she would call. And, I said, well, my name is Jackie. And I had asked her name. And again, this has been a long, long time ago. I don't remember. But, I was just like, well, how are you doing? And, how is your son? And, I just started to talk to her, and it was only like 5 minutes, no big deal. But every Sunday, 6 o'clock, I knew that we were going to get a phone call. And it wasn't long after we had started having, a little bit more of a conversation, I found out she was living in a nursing home. And she was living in a nursing home that was less than 2 miles from my home. And it was an older lady. And I was like, okay, I don't know this lady, but again, she's calling every Sunday, and it's, and my girls would answer the phone when they were so small, and they would talk to her, and, she kind of became like grandma invisible or grandma wrong number. And so I said, what is something that you can make for somebody in a nursing home that they could use that wouldn't be, too problematic to take care of, or this, that, and the other. And I think this is when I was on, what was the name of that website? It was Crochetville. And it was like, I was looking at all of these patterns that people were making for older people, and I was like, I didn't want to make a lap gown because that involved granny squares. So I decided to make her a shawl. And I found this pattern. It was from, it's like the website's no longer active, but it was like Groovy Crochet or something. And it had all these patterns from the 1970s. And there was a shawl pattern, and there was no picture, but I think it was called the Ethereal Shawl. And that was the first shawl I ever made. I have made several of them, in the many, many years since then. But anyway, I made a shawl, and I went to the nursing home, found out what room she was in, and I brought her a shawl. Now, we had never seen each other before, and I don't know if y'all realize this, but my voice and my face don't always match up. And I will just leave that for you to fill in the blanks. So when I walked into the room, I was a little nervous because I did not know how it was going to go. And I walked in and I said, hi, Miss whatever. And she said, oh, Jackie. Oh, Jackie. And she was just so excited because I found out that, you know, she was calling her son every week because he wasn't coming to visit her. And she didn't really have any visitors. So me visiting, it was a thing. And I brought my girls with me too. So, and you know, it seems like in nursing homes, they love, the residents tend to love, they love visitors anyway, but they love children, they love animals. It's like, it's weird when you're separated from everything. The littlest things mean so much. And my fear of how I was going to be received immediately melted away, and there were hugs, and I showed her the shawl, and she loved the shawl. When the nurse had come into the room, she told them all about, you know, this our relationship basically. And you know, she just loved that shawl, and she, every Sunday she was calling, but this time she was actually calling me on purpose. And she said, I told everybody that you made me the shawl, and I told my son, and I just told everybody, and I thank you so much, and you're just the sweetest, and your girls are just so sweet. So this went on for, again, about 6 months, every Sunday, 6 o'clock, every Sunday, 6 o'clock. We were just so excited to hear from her. And then the phone call stopped. I'm supposed to be crocheting. When the phone call stopped, it was like really like my grandmother had died. And a few years later, I had started volunteering at that nursing home. And I think it was the activities director or something, I had said, do you remember, you know, a resident by the name of, she said, yeah, I do. She said, oh, how did she word it? She said, you know, she was just the sweetest lady, and, you know, she was never seen. She said somebody brought her, like, made her a shawl, and she was never seen without her shawl. And I said, I'm the one that made it for her. And she's like, you're Jackie? So anyway, for me, I think that making shawls makes me remember her, and it makes me happy, because I always imagine people who receive my shawls to have the same reaction that this lady, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't think I'm going to delete it this time. All right, I made 2 stitches, y'all. Two stitches. I'm sorry. I talk with my hands. I'm sorry. Okay, other things I wanted to talk about. What was it? Oh, I know. Okay, so tanks and tees. Oh, I need a minute. Tanks and tees 2023. I know, between Lynanne and I, you're probably either really, really annoyed or really, really ramped up and excited and motivated, and you feel like you're being propelled forward to make your tee or tank or both, so that we can shut up about it. So I finished my first tee, which is the one that I made using the Wonderland's silk twist yarn. Oh, she's so pretty. She's blocking right now. She's so pretty. I'm so, so thrilled with how she came out. And that brings me to my dilemma. So here it is. We want people to make things that they haven't made before and enjoy the process. You know, we selected the cactus and lace Wren tee / Wren tank patterns because they are very beginner friendly. That does not mean that that's the only thing that you can use. That doesn't mean that you have to use that pattern. And I'm saying this for two reasons. One, because I don't want you to feel like, well, if I have to make that, then I'm not going to make anything at all, because you might not like the patterns, and that's okay. Don't force yourself to do something that is not bringing you joy during it. I'm not talking about swatches, because that's a whole other beast. That is a whole other everything, okay? I'm talking about when you have done your swatch and you have played with the fabric of your swatch and you know exactly how it's going to turn out, and you start the project and you know that it's just not your cup of tea. Okay, again, this has nothing to do with sizing. This has nothing to do with yarn choice. This is just, you don't like how the pattern is coming together. It is okay to stop and switch, just change the whole thing around, because that is what I'm experiencing with one of these patterns. I've swatched and swatched and swatched. I've tried several fibers. I've tried, I even tried changing the stitch. I just don't like how this pattern works to me, okay? One, I know it's bottom up. Okay, I've made peace with the fact that this is going to go together in pieces. That's fine. But I would like my I would like my tank to have some kind of shape. I don't want it to be just like a box. Okay, I don't want that. I want something that's gonna have a little bit of shape. I could probably do some manipulating of the pattern as it is to get what I want, but I feel like that because it's a beginner pattern, I don't want someone else to be like, well, I made that pattern and it didn't, mine didn't have the shaping. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to muddy any of the waters. So I think I'm going to choose a different pattern. I'm probably going to choose one of the patterns that I featured in the Love Crafts video. I believe it is one of the paint box patterns. They just look so comfortable and just like what I think summertime tops should be. So I think that's what I'm going to do. It will still be in pieces, bottom up, and that's going to be me stepping outside of my comfort zone in just the way I'm putting this together. If after I make my tank, I decide that I'm okay with making the Wren tank or tee, then I might do that. But for right now, I can't. I have to move past that block, and in order to move past that block, it means I have to put that pattern on the back burner. I've not done very much as far as crocheting. Let me see, there was something else, so let me just check. Oh, my shawl is living inside of my Debbie mini bag. She's so cute. I just love this little bag. Oh, speaking of bags, Allie with Little Drops of Wonderful and Claudia from Crochet Luna are hosting a dodgy bag mail. I think I may have mentioned this before. They encourage you to sew a project bag And the reason why it's called dodgy bag is because, you know, they're made by non-professional seamstresses and sewerists. And that is right up my alley. Okay. That speaks to me, because if it can be dodgy, doggone it, sign me up. I have some fun scrap material that I'm wanting to make, and Allie also is planning to do a strawberry shortcake make along. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I know that it is not just for crochet or knit, so that's my strawberry shortcake dress. I'd love to make another one. I made this out of a bed sheet. And it's a vintage strawberry shortcake bed sheet. The only thing, and here, I'm going to put this out there in case anybody has access to, or if anybody can help me. I have this, what is this called? This is bias tape. I think that's what this is. Red polka dot not bias tape. Is it bias? Yeah, it's bias tape. Okay. So I put on my dress, I put some on the sleeves, but I ran out before I could do the bottom hem. And this dress I made this in 2020, and it doesn't have a hem. I hung it because, you know, you're supposed to hang your dress before you hem it. And something I learned, you know, when I was in my sewing rabbit hole. And yeah, if anybody can tell me where I can find, or if anybody happens to have any of this red polka dot bias tape, please let me know. I would really love to be able to finish this dress and be able to wear it outside of the house. Okay. Oh, the ribbing is on, the ribbing. Well, I'm just going to call it ribbing. That's not what I mean, but it's on the shoulders as well. I mean, what am I saying? Armhole as well as around the neck. Super cute. Anyway, so I'm excited for the strawberry shortcake make along. And as soon as I find out more information, I will definitely share it with y'all. I know I said when I hit 1,000 subscribers, there would be a giveaway, and I have not forgotten about that. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to do the giveaway this time. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Let me show you what the giveaway is. This yarn is coming out of my stash, and I did cake them up, so they will arrive caked. And I believe there's a label missing from one of them, so I apologize. But the yarn is this right here. It is called Uru Yarn Electric by Knit Crate. And it is 40% Huacaya alpaca, 30% wool, 30% Surrey alpaca. It is worsted weight, 150 yards, 137 meters, 100 grams or 4 ounces, hand wash gently, dry flat. And it calls for a 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter crochet hook and knitting needles. And there are 2 of them. I will re-cake this one up. It is a completely full hank. It's just, I tried to make something with it, and yeah. So I will re-cake this so that it arrives like this, because we rock the 80s. A Rubik's Cube. A cute little notebook with a wooden bookmark. So it's a small giveaway, but again, it is a way to say thank you so much for helping me to reach my 1,000 subscriber goal. The GlamFam is still growing, and I am so happy about it. And I'm glad to have y'all as part of my family. I think about y'all all the time, and you know, I'm always, you know, I share stories with my in-person family about, you know, some of the goings on in the, like, in the comment section. It is so, it's just so nice to have y'all here. Sometimes I feel like, you know, y'all are the only ones that kind of understand me, especially, you know, when it comes to, you know, pattern decision paralysis, or, you know, found a pattern that you love but can't find the right yarn, or vice versa. And, you know, y'all are sitting there going, yes, yes, this happens. This is like, you know, because I explained it to my husband, and you know what I have to say, out of all the husbands that have ever husbanded, spoused, out of all the husbands that ever espoused, mine is the perfect one for me, because he might not understand 99% of the stuff I'm saying, but my goodness, he just listens and he smiles, and sometimes he gets on my nerves the way he does it, because, you know, he doesn't watch a lot of YarnTube videos, but, you know, he recognizes quite a few of the yarn tubers. But, you know, in some terminologies, he's like, oh yeah, ooh, that's totally scarfable. I love my husband, and he is the best husband I could ever have, and I should probably tell him that, but it might go to his head. I gotta keep him humble. Yeah, I'll tell him later. What have y'all been working on since we've been chatting? Okay, I think at this point, really, maybe 13 stitches, maybe. I don't know. It's like I watched some podcasts, you know, they're stitching, so, you know, either crocheting or knitting while they're talking, and their hands are going a million miles a minute, and mine do too, just not in my project, because, you know, I have to talk like this. I have to get into it, because, you know, I can explain something is this big, right? Or I can say, oh, it's this big. Well, how big is this if I don't go like that? And in order to do that, I have to put down the stuff. Okay, I've been talking for way longer than I had planned to. All right, I've done almost nothing, but I did do something. So something is better than nothing, and I'm calling it. All right. If you enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Tell other people about this channel, because I'm asking you to. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Ko-fi account, and for as little as 3 cents a day, for as little as $3 a month, you can support the delinquency of me. If you would like to stick around and become a member of the GlamFam, please do so by hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to rock that notification bell. Until next time, I've been Jackie. All by myself. Look how good I look.
Hey, where's little Jackie?
Okay, gotta go. Welcome to this channel. Today...
No. You're supposed to say, welcome to Crochet ADHD. I'm your host, Jackie.
But...
You just have to say the thing. Like, if you said you wanted the roll. If you did the roll, you have to do the thing. You have to do it properly.
What? No, I have been behind the scenes this whole time. I don't understand. What is going on in here?